Hello and welcome to
Okay.
Nerdarchy, for nerds by nerds. I'm Nerdarchy Steve, and today I'm joined by all these nerds. We're gonna play some 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons. And I'm just gonna hand it over to our awesome dungeon master, Steven Partridge.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Ashes of Ardor. We love some D&D around here. We also love some Syrinscape around here because we do sound effects and nonsense. So check it out. If you really dig this campaign, we also have another campaign called Quillen's Sword that Robin and I are a part of. And we do that here on YouTube. So you can look up Quillen's Sword. You should find it pretty easily. I am going to roll a d4 to get us started and right into things so we can recap. Yes, everybody is level 6. Oh, and full disclosure, this is a dark fantasy game. So there may be some elements some people find triggering or terrifying, horror fantasy, that sort of thing. So just be aware. Okay, that's Doug.
Okay, let's see. Last time, I'm Nerder Doug. I'm playing Desatrikos, who is an Eslari sorcerer, shaggy soul. Gets his power from Shagos, one of the Pride, who are their gods in sky. But the last time we started off with a bang as Desatrikos and Senta squared off. That was last session, right? That was I'm not missing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It was part of a Minotaur festival of the winds. I want to say it was called.
Mm-hmm.
And we put on quite a show together, much to the delight of the Minotaur folk. And let's see. That was what. And yeah, we met there was some intrigue going on with a third interested party or another interested party in the same objects that we were questing for, but we put the kibosh on that and actually commandeered the festival and turned it into quite a spectacle. And I will turn it over to Ted, who can shed some light on what else was going on while Senta and I were doing that.
Yeah, so we're trying to find these, green shards that are supposed to encompass the egg of the phoenix that is not rebirthed or reborn. And one of the pieces that we're looking for was kind of embedded within the gong of this Minotaur city. And we were led to believe that, every year they run this festival and the winner gets to strike the gong and the pieces never come loose. But if you shake it loose, it's yours, all that kind of stuff. Well, during the fight, a halfling had kind of scurried up the tower and was trying to pry this green shard out. Gortham, mage killer, Dave's character, wound up going up after him. I came out and was trying to help as well. And for the crime of kind of interfering, the halfling was put into the arena with not only myself, Gortham, but Desatrikos as well, and it wound up being this whole big hubbubaloo. And I'll throw it over to I'm playing Strawn Graydon, a druid Circle of the Stone, and I'll throw it over to Dave to kind of say what happened next.
So I am playing Gortham, Mage Killer, Minotaur Spell Eater, Barbarian, and I think we kicked the whole festivities off with a battle between the Strixos, whose name I always butcher, never remember for the sake of my life, Doug's character, and Senta.
You nailed it.
And that's when, as Ted said, we noticed that halfling not trying to remove the piece from the gong, but removing it. And we captured that halfling and flung it into the ring and made it a participant because it had to earn the shard if it wanted the shard. And also so far, I think halflings in this world is the scariest thing in the game so far, because they basically look like little cat people, which is terrifying in itself. So they're like basically 3-foot tall cats. This is the vibe that I got. And they look like, to me, in my head, I know it's not accurate, but in my head canon is they're essentially the She-Ra character that is the cat person. So
That's
yeah,
amazing.
so once that happened, like the challenge they tried to end the challenge, and I was like, no, like the contest must continue until there's a champion. And so we kept it going until someone won. With that, I want to throw it to Robin.
So we then eventually went through a portal and went into the underground where the dwarves are. There was this one dwarf that was wearing white, which means he was an aristocrat that was watching us. Somebody tried to warn us off of going down there, and of course Cinta was like, "Nah, we're going anyway." And then we get there, and we get to like the dwarven growth chamber where the dwarves hatch out of the ground, because that is literally how we are born in this setting. And it's under attack by the terrible horde of things, and there's a whole bunch of dead dwarven soldiers on the ground, and that's where we left off.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That is exactly where you left off. So as you guys look around, you see this scene unfold before you. You see blood splattered all over the walls. You see the corruption that has already begun spreading that you're very familiar with. These black veins creeping up in the back of the mother tree. This golden tree with crystals jutting out of it, her branches reaching and burrowing into the rock face to create these pods of unborn dwarves. The pods are dark, not luminous, as you would normally know them to be, Senta. And you hear chittering, skittering, and all manner of commotion further down. And right out the gate, I need everyone to give me a perception roll.
Oh, okay. Uh, 13 for me.
13.
14.
Okay.
17 for Strong.
17.
Rocking a 4.
All right. So everybody except Gortham would begin to hear the sounds of cracking and crumbling and stone starting to grind. And Strawn, you being the most observant and the most in tune with stone itself, would immediately begin to realize what's cracking are these pods that hold dwarves. And you see that the ones that are cracking right now are the ones where the black veins have come up the tree and reached through the rock face and into the crystals. And they are now beginning to break open. And it is time already for everyone to roll initiative.
Oh. All right. Where is that?
Well, it was almost a Nerdark again.
I got a 9.
I rolled double
Dirty
ones.
20.
Oh, wow.
I have a 10.
Okay, so we definitely have Senta going first as of right now. Let
I got
me
a 3.
not type in that. Senta. Then, and what did Desatrikos get?
9.
Desatrikos got a 9. Okay, so we have this one. Man, your character's name is very long.
Sorry.
No, you are all good. I'm just trying to type.
I usually try to keep them choppy, but I got stuck in that Greek
Hey,
Google Translate mindset, and that was the word for shake.
That is totally fair. I am putting my Nerdarchy dice in dice jail tonight. While they are beautiful as ever, they are also were not treating me well last week. So I'm using my blood dice.
Ooh, cool.
Okay. These ones like me better. So, first up are going to be the Boggarts. So,
Oh, quick question.
yes.
Did we rest before leaving?
I think we did.
You did not.
are you
So-
sure? Because I have it marked on my spell points that we rested.
Maybe you did.
I'm
can't
pretty sure
remember.
we slept at
Oh, that's right. You slept and then you left the next day. That's right. That's what happened. Yep.
at
So you guys
Mom's
did-
house.
Yeah, at Gortham's mom's place.
It was also
Okay.
Gortham.
Ooh.
So, all right, let me get this going. Very excited about this. And once again, I need to learn how to type. There we go. Okay, so you see that these stones collapse open as chunks and shards explode off, and you see that burrowing out of these amber pods are what look vaguely like humanoid shapes, except they're about the size of Gortham.
Oh my gosh.
They seem to be composed of black vine wrapped shards of stone of various colors that are starting to turn this almost milky shade of gray. And they seem to be dripping with some sort of liquid that's viscous and ichorous. And one of them is going to immediately lunge out and try to go for the nearest person, which would be, I would imagine, Strawn, as he was looking at these things.
Sure.
So that is a +7, so 21 to hit your armor class.
That absolutely is going to hit.
Okay, so this creature lunges, and you see these viney tendrils with thorns just whip out from what composed the arm, and they wrap around you, and they squeeze you for 2d8, which I have right here. 2, 7, that's 9 plus 4, 13 bludgeoning damage. And it's gonna try to grapple you, I think, as part of its action. Oh, nope, it has to hit you with both. Has to hit you with both attacks. So it's gonna attack you again with its other arm. That's a 16 plus 7, 23. These dice like me.
You're gonna
Okay.
earn that bloody reputation.
Yes, they are. 9 plus 4, so 13 more bludgeoning damage. And you are beginning to be engulfed and grappled in this as it begins pulling you forward. And you guys watch as Strawn is just mummified in these constricting, thorny black vines with these, like, this purple blue sort of viscous ichor just dripping, and it looks like it's starting to just stick him even more into the creature as it starts pulling him into its body. And that is the only one that has managed to escape so far. So we're up to Senta.
All right. Well, let us activate Cruel Intent and get in there and do a stab.
Okay. Stabby, stabby.
I'm going to assume a 24 hits.
A 24 does hit, yes.
Okay. Strawn is being
Yeah,
engulfed, so am I correct in assuming that that does not qualify as an ally being within 5 feet?
Yes.
Okay. I had to try. It's
Yeah,
like in the road
yeah.
rule book.
I'm reading it right now to double check, and it doesn't look like, actually it doesn't look like it says either way. So I'm going to say, yeah, he's within 5 feet of it.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
I would have
sure.
to be, typically I would have to be incapacitated for it to not qualify.
Yeah, he's just being
Right.
mummified right now, but he's still very conscious and can fight on his turn.
That's all. Just
Well, in that case, it's going to be 16 damage from my silver
Okay.
dagger.
All right, so you carve this thing, and you see as you start to slice, just like with all Umber spawn, the blade's wound starts sparkling and silvering, preventing it from closing back up, and you've clearly dealt it a severe blow.
Excellent.
And it is now Strawn's turn. Strawn, you are wrapped up in a boggart.
All right. Well, I need to remedy a situation and what have you. So I'm going to do one thing that, number one, haven't done before, and two, will get me some extra hit points and get me a better chance of getting out of here. So I'm going to wild shape.
Ooh, okay.
So, I release a different type of roar, and I will turn into a black bear.
Okay. Okay.
So I get bigger. I'm not large, but I'm definitely girthier and now have I think more hit points than I had a moment ago. So
okay.
They might tear through these hit points really quickly, but we'll see what happens.
Okay. So I'm going to let you do that as if it were a grapple check to try to escape.
Sure.
Because you are basically forcing yourself very rapidly against this. And so you will even have advantage on it because this creature is not expecting it and it doesn't have the level of intelligence to necessarily think of a strategy in that capacity.
All right. Well, that's a 18 then.
18. That works. So you turn into this bear, and as you the viney tendrils just lacerate like ribbons, and you are free.
Well, I am not Circle of the Moon, so that is my action to wild shape. So
okay. So next up we have Desatrikos.
Okay, so real quick, are we it's underground, right? But there's the tree in there,
yes.
So it's probably like a big chamber.
Yes.
And I don't know much about dwarves. Is there the other ones that aren't like near us or whatever? Are they close together? Or relatively?
This is the only boggart that has been able to escape as of yet.
Oh, okay. So I'm going to close my eyes, and he clasps his hands, and then as he expands them, there's a swirling mass of writhing fur and hair that gets bigger, and then I'm gonna throw it at the ground under the most amount of them that I can see as he casts Hairball.
Okay.
Which is not unlike Fireball, except instead of fire damage, this ball of hair collides with the ground within 60 feet of me, spreads out and makes the terrain sticky and grasping with sticky, gross hair. In a 20-foot radius, it's considered difficult terrain, and creatures that end their turn there take 2d8 psychic damage. So maybe they'll fall into it. I don't know. I don't know anything about dwarves or boggarts, but interesting.
Okay.
And then that's his action.
Okay.
Let's see.
So does that damage happen on its turn, or
it's when they end their turn in that area?
Okay, gotcha.
So you don't have to worry about it for. And then for my movement, let's see. I guess I just saw Strand turn into a bear, so I'm just gonna stay where I am, and that's it. That's my turn. Just gonna sort of be defensive, and that's it.
Okay. So next up we have Gortham.
I would like to rage, and
okay.
I will charge the one that is it's not constricting Strawn anymore.
No, it is not.
No, but I'll charge that one and scream, swinging my axe. Get away from my vile mage friend. And I'll swing recklessly.
Okay.
That's a 28.
Make that attack roll. That absolutely hits.
Alright. One of these days, I really need to take Great Weapon Fighter.
Right?
I know you really seem to be lacking in the damage.
Yeah. And that'll be 15 points of damage.
15. All right.
And let's run that again. Because why not? That's going to be a 22.
That absolutely hits as well.
All right, and that is going to be 10 points of damage.
10 more points of damage.
And it can make a strength saving throw. Oh, no, it can't. It doesn't have to. I can't use my bonus action. I had the rage. So
okay.
I just glare
All right.
in defiance.
Fair enough. So it is its turn, and it is not even concerned about the hairball right now as far as like the location, because it's already sticky and it's very slow. So it's going to focus on the threat immediately in front of it, which is Gortham.
Okay.
So it's going to try to attack you. Does a 22 hit your armor class?
It was so close, almost. No, absolutely hits.
Okay.
I thought you were
I was
seriously
like,
really?
okay. I was like, man, I was so close too. You really had me going there. All right. That is 8 plus 4, 12 damage. And it's bludgeoning damage, so you do resist it.
Nice.
And it's going to try to attack you again. And actually, this time, now that it has done that, it is going to...
Oh, it has advantage to hit me, remember.
Oh, it does. That's right. I didn't roll advantage, but it's okay. Because this one, you need to make a saving throw for. So now that it's hit you with that stuff, it is going to, as these thorns inject this, like, ichor into the wound that it just caused.
Oh, nice.
So
okay.
you need to make a Constitution saving throw.
All right. That's not great. That is only an 11.
Now, here's the thing about this. If you remember...
we start with inspiration, right?
Well, not only that, but also, if you remember back in session 1, you fought off an ogre and you resisted the corruption, which gave you a feat. I don't know if you've added it, but it is in there in D&D Beyond for you, if you want to use it.
I did not. I did not add it.
It gives you advantage to saving throws imposed by creatures associated with the Umber Horde.
Okay. That's good to know.
So you actually have advantage on this roll.
Okay, so that's a dirty 20.
That will succeed.
All right.
So you feel this ichor start burning in the wound and you shrug it off. And you are unaffected, but you did feel your mind start going hazy a little bit, briefly.
Don't mess with my mind.
When it happened.
You mean hazier than normal?
And that is its round, and it finished its turn in here. So, Doug, roll me that psychic damage, and this thing is vulnerable to psychic damage. Because Senta, as you would know, dwarves are a level of psionic in this world, and psychic communication is very key to them. So this creature is vulnerable to psychic damage. Also, you're muted, Doug.
I was saying then the Willow Shagos is certainly extra painful for this effrontery, causing 26 points of psychic damage.
So you hear this creature just unleashes this, "Ah!" and it begins to slump and sag, and you see these ropey tendrils are kind of falling, and as it shrugs, they like reform a little bit, but then it has to shrug to get the other side. So it looks like it's hurting really badly as it's trying to maintain its composure. And you do see that inside it is actually a crystalline humanoid form that is completely stone. So Senta, whereas you have parts of stone manifesting on your body, this creature is fully encompassed in that stone it cracked out of.
Okay. That's exciting.
And it is now going to be Senta's turn.
All right, let's go. This is the second time I have rolled an 18 on my attack roll. That's 24 total, which I know hits.
Yes, it does. It absolutely hits. Never! It doesn't hit.
It casts shield.
Right, that is going to be 13 damage.
Describe how this creature falls as you destroy it.
Well, I'm going to find a crack that probably admittedly Gortham already left in it. And I'm gonna like jam my dagger in there, give it a good twist, and then like it's going to explode into like cracks and like, dust.
Okay. So as you jam your dagger in, you see that it starts to shatter all over. And as it's cracking and shattering, it's almost like glass as you just a little bit further, and you feel the rotten flesh underneath. And you pull out your dagger, and it is covered in more of that ichor. And the creature slumps over and you guys have survived against a boggart. You do see that there are other rocks in the amber pods that seem to be cracking just a little bit, but they don't quite look ready to hatch as such yet. They're just cracking and crumbling like these creatures are still being created.
So is this tree like growing out of like a crack in the stone ground, or is it like dirt or what?
This is stone, yet the tree is growing out of it.
No, like just right out of the stone.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
cool.
The tree lives down here. It has lived down here. Senta, you know that this tree is the source of all dwarven religion. This is what they worship as a monotheistic religion. They call her mother.
I'm gonna like put a hand up against that crystal and just look very concerned for a second, and I'm like, we need to figure out what's causing this and we need to fix it. Like there is no room in her tone for failure here.
Does it look like those veins are like going down like in the trunk and everything as well?
Yes. And Senta, as you put your hand on there, your consciousness is just and you find yourself in this dark swirling mist. The mist is like this glowing eerie yellow, and the beyond is black. You find yourself wading in shallow water, and you hear this faint voice calling to you, "It hurts, it hurts." And you would recognize it instinctually as the voice of Mother. And all of a sudden, your consciousness just, and you're back.
So Strawn reverts back to human form, casts a spell to cleanse and heal the wounds that were left by this thing grappling me. And then I'll look over to Senta. What? Your face went odd there for a moment. What's going on?
I heard her voice and she's in pain.
Aren't those things all supposed to turn into dwarf babies?
Not so much babies, but dwarves, yes.
I think this problem stems from the roots, as it were. Do you know how to get to them? Are they below?
Do I know?
You do know. And it's usually a place that's forbidden, but right now the guards that would stop you are dead.
Yes, come this way. And then I'm gonna go. I'm not even going to consider that like as a part of my logic here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say that. I'll say wait. And I'll use my produce green flame and say like, can we maybe halt this process for the ones who are here now before we go? Will this
at the very least burn the one we've already killed? Yes.
I want to go to one of the ones that looks like it's being made and just not like try to like destroy it, but just like put my hand with the flame around it, like on one of the like where the stuff's going into the pod.
Okay.
See if it'll like stop it or slow it.
You can make an Arcana or a Religion roll, or Nature. Any of those is accessible.
I'll do Religion. He's quite a pious fellow.
Okay.
Oh man, dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Okay, so as you start to ignite your flame, you feel the creature inside is hurting, and you feel this writhing and the cracks start forming more briskly, and you realize you'll probably hatch the creature, but also you may or may not be able to kill it in one go. Senta,
Okay.
when
Wait,
this happens,
oh, sorry.
when this happens, you hear this piercing, blood-curdling scream through your mind.
Stop.
I'll take my hand away, but in that moment, like, you know, you said it kind of like it sent something inside. I just want to like sort of think towards it, like, you know, to just like let it try to calm it, basically. Just, you know, let it know like we're here, we're trying to help.
While he's doing
that's
that, I'll green flame on the dead one.
Okay. So it ignites and consumes very rapidly, just like the ones in the pile did back at Silver Abbey a year ago.
Now, I do believe that, you know, I'm a little bit knowledgeable about dwarves, and while this might not have really been a dwarf, you know, should there still be, you know, dwarven burial? Like, I know there's people who steal the dwarves' crystals for wealth, and there was some element of it here, so it should not be just left.
What are our funeral rites like?
Your funeral rites are usually that you bring the shards, because when dwarves die, they become their stone. And usually you bring the shards to the tree and bury them, and Mother reuses them, basically.
Okay, so then collecting those is probably a good idea, but we should keep them on us until we've got this solved, because right now all we're reducing them to is, and I'm gonna like look at the burning remains of the thing we just killed.
So does this look normal, or does this look, I dare use the word, obscene?
There's definitely something wrong here.
Looks umbral and gooey.
Well, I don't want to return something that is corrupt to the source of where new life comes from. Would I know whether this is something that we would want to return, or should this be destroyed?
I thought you were talking about the dead soldiers.
No, I was talking about the boggart, but the dead soldiers too.
So the dead soldiers' stones have not turned any weird colors. The boggart has a milky gray stone, which is different from what a gray dwarf would have. You know that when you're a gray dwarf, you actually turn a shade of black. And when you are a noble, your stone is usually more multicolored or chromatic. So having a stone that's white and black as a solid and not properly one or the other or a color is just weird.
Senta, with all respect, would this be an insult to you and your people if we study this? Perhaps we might be able to gather some more information.
I am sure that there are people that would say that it would be, but I think that we need to know.
And I will collect the milky gray stone from the boggart.
Whatever receptacle you put that in, make sure it's one you can't see through.
Understood.
So when you go to do that, actually, Strawn, you do feel that pouch you took off the halfling.
Mm-hmm.
And as you're going to mess with it, you feel something that seems a little bit familiar in feel. And you pull it out to see that this halfling definitely had another of those jade shards outside of the one they were trying to steal.
Oh. Hey, fellows, I'll hold out the other stone.
Well, that's going to make our job a little bit easier, I suppose.
The
only
question
question
in that pouch.
Where did it come from? We're still gonna have to go places looking, but some places we're gonna go to and there's not gonna be a shard there because it's already been collected.
Well, we have no way of knowing right now.
Our luck's been pretty good so far, but that is something to keep in mind.
So, this is your home center. Where should we go from here?
To the roots, as he said. And I'll give a gruff nod and just head off in that direction, but like carefully, right? Like I'm not going full speed ahead. I am looking out and like around corners and stuff because there is something bad going on here.
Strawn's going to try and stay close, not only for perception, but for defense and all that stuff.
Okay. So you start walking further into the chamber and your feet leave the rough rock, which is the area where the mother tree's setting is. And it is decorated with different colored gemstones that span the entire spectrum in the order, starting with red, going to a chromatic stone. And they make this giant circle that encompasses the rough stone where the mother tree and the amber chamber is. And your feet hit tile. And you see there are these massive pillars that seem to be made of marble that look to be carved like different dwarves from different colors and different castes, and they are performing the task that they are meant for. So you see that this one that is probably meant to be red, and it has a red stone jutting up from the other side as you're coming along it, so you can see that it's there. And they're in this position holding out a bowl as though they're serving someone. And you see opposite that one, there's an orange one that has a drawn bow. And you just keep going as you see these different dwarves in all of the colors. And it almost looks as though they are carved in such a way that they are looking down directly at you, gazing on you and judging you. And
this is a reverent place. You walked these halls once yourself. It's like they're looking down.
It's a little unnerving how little we encountered between where we came from and here, with such a holy place and such a vast amount of, well, to those who would be greedy, wealth. Rather unsettling and worried.
I think the Umbral Horde cares for wealth.
No, but in these dark times, there are many who would exploit these times for their own gain.
They would if they knew. My people have been keeping this very quiet on purpose. I found out because someone I knew trusted me with the information.
That could be a good sign, Strawn, if this place hasn't been breached from above. At least whatever's here is contained for now.
Well, I mean, Umbral Horde is not too far away if the tree itself has been poisoned.
We'll find out soon enough.
Maybe it came from the tree.
I highly doubt that.
I thought you were a stone expert, not a tree expert.
Just because I favor stone doesn't mean that I don't know the ways of nature.
I mean, the Umbral Horde has come from beneath, and the tree's roots are underneath. So maybe it infected it from below.
As you continue down this path, you feel a brisk, cold breeze. Actually a little bit frigid, and there are sparkling crystals of snow on the air coming from a chamber to the right that seems to be burrowed and not built. You also see that the chamber continues on further straight ahead, and there's another chamber to the left.
I want to look at the thing that we came here to see first, but then I'm going to backtrack and check this out because that looks important.
Okay.
My fur
So-
gets thicker with the cold.
You continue down, and you sort of see Dasatrikos' fur just sort of fluff up a little bit as you're moving. And you find a huge stairway. And it's the stairway, while massive, is actually rounded, but it's not rounded in a way to where you just have to go one at a time. Like you could have probably 20, 30 people walking down these steps at once without any of them being single file. And
Wow.
it goes all the way down to a platform where it then turns left and goes further down and turns left and just keeps going like a spiral, but it's sharper.
Theoretically, it'll be faster if we walk toward the center.
This is really spacious and wide, not what I was expecting. Kind of like a main thoroughfare. There's no people. Or dwarves.
When
Yes, dwarves are
dwarves
people.
decide to move en masse, they must have the space to do so.
I want to stop and take a look at the ground.
Okay.
And see if like there's any like recent scuffing.
Okay. Make an investigation or perception roll. Do you have dark vision?
No. Not
It
that
is
kind of
dimly
mentor.
lit in here. There are
I was
glowing blue monocrystals overhead. You've noticed there are monocrystals sort of like purveying the general area to light it, but it's all dim lighting here.
I will spark up my axe with the green flame blade.
Okay.
Kind of hold that to the ground as I try and look for tracks.
Okay. So then you will not have disadvantage.
Oh, that's a plus. Well, that's not going to be great. That's an 11, better than average.
An 11.
If you
It's not difficult to see.
if you want, Strawn would give you a hand.
There are definitely scuff marks and blood splatters. And you see smears of blood even along the walls, but towards the bottom, as though things have been dragged down here.
Can we tell the direction? Are they being drug up or being drug down?
Down. And as your feet just echo a little bit as you walk down these steps, occasionally when probably Gortham with his hooves, which are a little bit louder, clack, you can hear occasional skittering and chittering from further down.
That's a bad sign. Or a good one, depending on how you look at it. Slap the side of my axe.
With the flame on it?
Yeah, why not? It's magic.
I would like to stealth on my way down so that I don't
Okay.
have to do it when combat starts.
Absolutely. Go ahead and make a stealth check.
19.
19. Okay. So
Maybe it's friendly clattering.
as you kind of hug the shadows, the places where these unnatural, or rather very natural and uncut mana crystals jut so that they're not quite casting light evenly, as you hug these shadows, you find that you're pretty well stealthy down here. And you notice a shadowed figure above you and behind your group coming from the top. Fairly quietly, but not quite enough that you and Strawn don't notice.
All right. I'm going to keep an eye on that one and get ready to tackle if it makes a move.
Okay. It seems to be coming towards you.
I will make sure that that Dastrikos and Gortham are aware. I can do so like subtly and quietly.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Can we, like, if I peer into the dark where he's indicating, can I see anything?
Make an investigation or perception.
All right. You get disadvantage on either ones. Let's see. Ooh, jeez. Nope. 2.
2. Okay. So you
I don't see anything.
can't quite make it out.
I will turn towards the direction of that Strawn indicates,
Mhm.
set my feet, and then figure eight my axe and give him a have at us then.
Okay. When you do that, you see a figure sort of peek around with these green eyes that sort of just flicker a little bit with the cast of the light. And you readily recognize Jen. Senta.
I'll come out of the shadows. Well, there you are.
Yeah, I managed to get past the guards. There was a smoldering heap. Did you see that?
Depending on what smoldering heap you're talking about, we might have caused that.
It was like black and thorny, and all the guards are dead. Like, that's the reason it was easy to get in. You didn't kill the guards.
We didn't kill the guards. We killed the thing that killed the guards.
That thing that was smoldering killed the guards?
Yeah. We are very likely to end up in a fight down here. You might want to stick close.
I see. Okay.
There's lots of nastiness in the world. Does this person's emotions seem genuine, or do they seem like they could possibly be something else and they're not being sincere?
Give me an insight check.
How do you feel about a 22?
22. This person seems very sincere. They seem to be a friend of Senta's, or to know her at least pretty well.
I mean, the fact that she called that Senta called her out by name means something to me, but this is weird times, and I'm not ready to play games.
And this person then they look at Dasatrikos and Gortham in particular, and then they look sort of shooting Senta a question.
They're all right. Don't worry.
Okay. That's a really big axe.
It is.
The better to protect you with if we get into a fight.
Oh, we're going to get into a
for
fight. There's always fights everywhere I go.
That sounds like a personal problem.
Nope,
maybe.
I usually come out pretty well.
Oh, that's
He does.
why the fights happen. Okay, that makes more sense. Hi, I'm Jen. They, them,
Gortham Mage
he,
Killer.
her, or she, her, or he, him, she, her. I don't care. All of them work, but they, them is usually best. And you see that this figure has like this swooping hair and like 5 o'clock shadow, but like wears clothing that's like kind of a mix of both masculine and feminine. And they do carry a crossbow with them this go around, which you did not see them with before, Senta.
Make a note of that, but I don't comment on it.
Well, Jens, is it? I'm Strawn. This is Dasatrikos, and this is Gortham.
Gortham Mage Killer.
Oh, that's a name.
We arrived here by unusual means. Where did you come from?
Well, Are we talking in an existential way? Because I came from Mother, who is now
Uh.
sick. Apparently, don't touch her or the pods. I learned that the hard way.
As did I.
Wasn't she coming from behind, or they were coming from behind us?
Yeah, they're coming from behind you.
So like the way we had come.
Yeah.
Right.
Like
was there any other entrance to that chamber? Like I got the sense like we teleported into it.
You did.
Walked out of the only entrance to it.
No, you're walking further in, and there is an exit that leads into the proper Dwarven city.
Oh, there. Okay, I thought we teleported into a chamber where the only exit was the stairwell going.
Nope.
I misunderstood. Nope. Okay.
Yeah, you're going deeper in, and also apparently there's a place that leads to the outside, given the breeze that you encountered earlier.
That had piqued my curiosity.
Yeah, usually the nobles and the sages keep this place locked off. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, the architecture is basically like the city. Yeah. We're kind of known for that. Carving stones, all that. Like we hear it sing. It's really cool. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Did you see the blackness, Senta? Like the veins and stuff?
We were in the room.
Yeah.
We are seeking a way to fix that.
Do you have a way to fix it?
Not yet, but a dwarf baby tried to eat Strawn.
A dwarf baby? We don't have babies.
We're not going to know what we need to do until
we know it was a boggart?
Yeah, you would, because it's a part of the Umber Horde, which your order fights.
I would say it was a boggart that hatched out of one of the dwarven eggs.
Oh.
Pods.
Is that the normal thing for dwarves to be corrupted into boggarts?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And in regards to trying to fix things, I'll just, hold out my hand and conjure some of the green flame.
Oh, wow. I have only heard tales about that. I didn't know you could actually do it. I thought that stopped when you killed the phoenix. Does that help, Senta?
Yes.
Can you do that?
And I do.
We didn't kill the phoenix. It was already dead.
Oh.
We are yet another quest that we are looking to remedy.
I see.
Yeah, we're not entirely sure why the order did it, but all of us joined after it happened.
Okay.
We joined to deal with the Umber Horde more than any of the past legacy that came out after.
I see. We thought your main keep got destroyed a year ago. I didn't know many of you survived outside of Senta.
Yeah, it's basically just us.
Oh.
But the keep is still there. We've been trying to rebuild over time.
Yeah, we are always looking for more members. If the destruction of the Umbral Horde and access to Green Flame is something that you would desire.
I don't know. I mean, I have a home and a life here, and I'm part of the Emerald Cast. Like, I don't know. But that's not great either. I'm kind of in the middle of the groupings. I don't know. Can we talk about this later, Senta?
Yes, we can talk about this later. We need to know what's happening.
If it helps at all, I will not be doing any of the training anymore. At least not the old way. We have a new way to train. It's much better, I think.
I'm just going to start walking.
Oh, that's very nice for you. I have a crossbow. I can help. At least I can watch out for myself a little bit if need be.
It won't come to violence.
So you guys continue walking down the way, and as you're going, you see that the walls, once again, these walls have murals too. And the art style is not dissimilar from those that were in your keep, which, at least for those of you with stone cunning, Senta, will lead you to believe that probably the ones in your keep were done by dwarves that were part of your order. So they were like real quality. these depict the different casts and their roles, and it just keeps repeating it over and over again. Occasionally, you see a phrase about how you choose who you're going to be before you have memory, before you really know. And it's more or less talking about how you're alive in a sort of dreamlike state before you're born, and that time determines what color you're going to be. At least that's the tenets of this religion. Whether it's true or not, no one can say because no one actually remembers. I need for a marching order. This is important.
I am up front.
I will take the vanguard. Is it Jen or Jens?
Jen, Jehn.
Okay, so
What does the vanguard mean?
Rear
the
guard.
rear,
Oh,
rear guard.
okay.
So as we started, I would have leaned in and given Jen a dopey smile. There's always violence.
I'll take
Okay.
I'll take a position behind Senta, giving her as much scouting space as they want.
Okay.
I figure we probably have either Jen or Dacitricos in the middle, as Doug would prefer.
Yeah. Who do you want to be in the middle or towards the back?
Me?
Yeah.
The middle.
Okay. So that's the Tricos is in the middle. So Senta, I need you to give me a perception or investigation check. If you have proficiency with thieves' tools, which I'm pretty sure you do, you don't have disadvantage.
16.
16. Okay. So you do see that as you go further down, it seems that there are certain plates that are looser than others. And you've seen a couple places where they've been triggered, it seems. And there is some sort of trap that comes out of the wall as you see char marks, scorch in one side of the wall near some of them where they've been already moved or pushed inward by whatever clumsy things have been traveling these stairs.
Right. Okay, so I'm going to have to assume that that's probably the Umbral Horde.
Mm-hmm.
Because the dwarves would know where all this stuff was.
Mm-hmm.
So I will point that out and continue on.
Okay. So you can easily avoid it and not set off any of the fire traps. You eventually make your way to this big archway with a portcullis. And you see the portcullis has been destroyed so that it's bent out and just utterly useless at this point. The chains and levers that would control it on the other side are also broken apart. You see more blood splatters and dead soldiers on both sides of the portcullis down here. Heads and limbs just ripped apart and thrown all over the place. And yet it seems that there are definitely some indications that not all of the soldiers were eviscerated, because you see some places where there's like a blood smear on a wall that drags away.
Oh, yeah, definitely following that.
Okay. So as you walk through the portcullis area, you come into a wide chamber and you realize that this stepway down was so that you could have this massively tall chamber down here. You see the roots of the mother tree coming through the floor and dipping into this pool, which is currently being fed by waterfalls in like a curved area that sort of arches over so that you can walk underneath. But the waterfalls are not putting water into this fountain. Instead, there's this black syrup that's just sort of pouring in with this goopy sort of noise. It's very oozy. And it is really quite disgusting. It's rank down here. It smells like death, even more so than anywhere else you've ever been. And you see that the tree seems to be absorbing whatever is in this pool filled with black ichor. And the roots are all but completely blue, purple, and black. The crystals down here are actually emitting black light despite being this milky gray once again.
All right. Well, that's where we need to put the fire. How hard is that going to be to get to?
You can just walk right up to it.
Okay. Well, walk right up to it, I do.
Okay. As you walk up to it, you start to, well, actually make me a perception roll.
Eventually, I'm going to end up failing one of these because, I promise you, I'm actually not good at that. 17.
17. You see indications of like hoof prints down here. You see claw marks, you see footprints of creatures that aren't dwarves. You see a variety of like prints and markings made in blood and this black ichor alike that have smeared on the floor, such that it looks like there's more than just dwarves that have been down here and more than just boggarts that have existed as members of the Umbral Horde down here. And you see that the pool of ichor itself is burbling a little bit. You would know that it's said that the life well, as this is called, goes down all the way into the middle of the planet itself, drawing forth magic and life energy of the world for the mother tree. So this well probably runs much deeper than it looks. So you wouldn't be able to just like walk into it or anything, but you do see burbling coming up from it, like bubbles.
I'm going to try to throw the fire in it anyway.
Okay, throw that fire into it. All right, so you throw the fire into it and it, and there's a section that just immediately turns crusty and kind of sparkly green before it's enveloped in this black ichor rolls over it once again.
Yeah, I should have figured it was going to take more than that. Is there any way to get further down from here?
It looks like there is, yes.
All right, well then I guess we keep moving.
Would we want to try doing a sequence? I mean, if three of us have the ability to throw the flame, does it look diminished in any way, shape, or form from what Senta did?
It was just a little bit. You think that it definitely would help if everyone were doing it, but you're not sure if all of you are enough.
Well, is it worth a try?
You can certainly try.
It's always
so
worth a try.
Do you think those shards we're collecting have any power, even split apart? I mean, could we try to use them as well? Maybe they would make the flame more powerful.
We'd be risking damaging them.
Okay.
So I suggest that we all call forth a flame and do it in sequence. So as soon as it begins to kind of crest over, to begin launching, so that as it crests up, more flame hits. As it crests up, more flame hits.
So don't let up.
Okay, so this is going to be a skill test.
All right.
I need everyone to make Arcana, Religion, or Nature checks. It is a difficult one to do, but you guys, in theory, can technically pass.
I am not good at any of these.
Yeah.
I've got Arcana and I've got Nature.
Can I try and run up to the basin to stick my axe in it?
You certainly can. So
I have nothing to throw, so that's what I will try.
Go ahead and go to the basin, and you can stick your axe in there, and if you choose to evoke the green flame, it will have a similar effect as to what Senta's did when she produced it.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to do that so I can be part of the sequence.
I'm gonna use my inspiration so that I don't nat one.
Okay.
Well, I was gonna say before we get started, if we're aware that that this is gonna be some kind of test, do we have that idea?
Yeah.
So then, Senta, I will cast a spell on you.
I will ask Strawn and why can't I say
Dasatrikos.
Dasatrikos. Why can't I say that? And Dasatrikos. Is this some type of magic? And I point to the the basing, the blurring stuff.
Looks like it's the poison of the Umber Horde.
All right, so I give you Fox's Cunning there, Senta.
Oh. What does that do?
Advantage on intelligence checks.
Sweet.
Ooh.
That brings me to a 17 total. Thank you.
Okay.
So I want to go and shove my axe in there, ignite it, and let each of them do their thing. And then once they do, after they each have thrown their flame in, I'm going to then rage and slam my fist into it. And I want to try and spell eat it.
Okay. I like that creativity there. So sure.
I will use my least favorite arm.
Okay. So Senta got a 17. What did Desatrikos get?
Okay. You don't have to tell me the number, but if I fail, I can spend sorcery points to reroll it, so I would do that since this is really important. But I'm going to do religion.
Okay.
And I just get a 17.
17. Okay.
All right, that is an 18 for me, choosing Arcana.
18 for you, choosing Arcana. Okay. So, Dave, go ahead and do your thing. You can roll Arcana and use your Constitution modifier instead of Intelligence.
Oh, well, that's nice, because that makes it a 24 instead of a 22.
Okay.
I credit if you care about such things.
So, you have 2 successes right now in total. It is a very high DC to make. Senta, because this is your people, what do you want to do for the last check?
So wait a second, before we go any further, so when Desatrikos rolled a 17...
You need an 18 or better.
Okay, because he had said...
Then I will spend a sorcery point and reroll that.
Okay.
That's a 19.
That's a success then. Okay. So you guys technically have enough successes. So
It's good because I have
Got plenty of sorcery points left.
absolutely none of the skills that you mentioned.
okay.
But you do have a fox's.
All right. So you guys describe to me what you do actually. So we'll start with Senta and then we'll go to Strawn and then we'll go to Desatrikos and then Gortham can do his thing at the end. So Senta, what do you do specifically? How does it react?
All right, so I didn't actually meet the requirement because I believe that was 18.
Okay.
So,
no, if you got an 18, you did succeed. I'm sorry, I thought you got
no,
a 16.
I got a 17.
Oh, you got a 17. Okay.
So I'm going, I attempted Arcana, I went trying to figure out the physics of the goo or something and place the flame where it would do the most good, but it pretty much just did the same thing it did the first time I tried it.
Okay.
So Strawn is actually quite knowledgeable when it comes to Arcana. Not only is he a ritual caster, But I mean, he studied magic, despite how many people in this world hate it. He's always been fascinated by it. And it eventually led him down into the druid arts of magic. But he's pretty wise. So watching the first time as it kind of bubbled over and consumed Senta's spell, he timed it so that it never had a chance to completely engulf Senta's original spell. So as the fire continued to burn and more came over the side, I launched my produce flame, the precise element to kind of keep both fires going at the same time.
Okay. Then Desatrikos.
He's sort of, because we were like timing it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's sort of like just standing there stoically, kind of almost with his eyes closed. Normally he tries to be calm, but inside he's actually feeling like the part of the Islari rage that he usually tries to suppress and think of Shagos, but he feels like Shagos' anger as well. So when his turn comes up and he opens his eyes, there's actually like green flames in his eyes as well. And he just like roars and throws it at this stuff with just a big roar, because he's just enraged at this effrontery to life.
Okay. And then Gortham, bring us home.
All right, so following the Streako's throw of the flame, he slams his axe into the center of it, igniting it, and then immediately thrusts his left arm up to the elbow and spreading his fingers out, and then activates his rage and begins trying to suck out the umbral magic from this go, so that hopefully weakening it in order for the power of the green flame to overtake.
Okay. And as you do this, you watch as the entire pool becomes a massive brazier, giving off this green fire, and it ignites the tree. Senta, I need you to make a Constitution saving throw. Jen collapses to the ground, holding their ears as tight as they can. You see blood pouring from their ears and from their nose. Yes, Senta, what'd you get? A 5.
5.
Oh, no,
Senta, you are also incapacitated as you hear this wailing shriek, this sound like you've never heard before in your life, of a dying woman as it just pours through your mind and doesn't stop. And you feel blood running hot down your nose and out your ears. And even in your nail beds, it's just this burning pain. And you collapse prone onto the ground. And you guys watch as the roots of the tree begin to ignite in fire. And you hear this guttural roar unleash from deep within the cavern, and you start hearing this rumbling and the ground begins quaking. And you hear a voice behind you shout, "What have you done? This is sacrilege!" And you see that there's a face of a white cloaked figure, blood pouring from their face now, the hood pulled back to reveal this ebony hair, these crystalline diamond looking eyes, and little dots of diamond around the neck. And this woman is shrieking with blood pouring from her face and nail beds as she's screaming, "Why would you do this? This is why we had to deal with it."
So as Senta begins to fall, would I have a chance to try and catch her?
Absolutely.
And then I would like to medicine check and see if there's anything that I can do or know, if I can figure out what's wrong beyond, just the obvious.
Senta, you have 3 words you can say to him.
That is harder than it should be, Steven. All right. It was Mother.
Okay, so do with that, Strawn, what you will.
All right, so does the tree look like it's actually on fire and is being destroyed by the flame, or does the flame look like it's doing what it's supposed to and killing the ichor?
It looks like it's both. And you hear creaking and crunching and this high-pitched squealing. If you've watched like Lord of the Rings, you know, the Ents where it makes that loud squeal. That's what you hear. And after about a minute, the white-cloaked figure actually drops from the platform where they were standing and falls to the ground. And you hear this crunch.
Well,
And
I would go to the
seem
tree.
dead from the fall.
I would go to the tree and see if I might be able to heal the tree.
Okay. How do you want to do that?
If I can get up to it, I'll just cast Cure Wounds.
Okay.
I don't know if that is effective here, but I will try.
You would have to run, basically swim through the brazier, taking massive fire damage like lava. Because you've essentially made green fire magma at this point, and the tree's roots are in the center, drawing from it.
So where we're at, the roots are coming down from the ceiling, and this thing is under it. Where
Right.
they're sort of, they were probably getting water. Now it's being fed by this ichor.
Yep.
Or flame now. Okay,
Mhm.
good. Thanks.
How big is the tree?
The tree is big, but most of this is the roots, and the roots are basically twisted into a column in the middle, so that you would have to go about 10 feet in to the fire
Could
to
I
be able to touch it.
Could I Misty Step to the branches?
You could. In fact, you could Misty Step to a place where the branches are not yet on fire, because it's the roots.
All right, so I will reach into this, Fey connection that I have and just evaporate and materialize next to the tree.
Okay, so you guys watch as Strawn Nightcrawlers this nonsense and gets up on the tree.
And I will reach out and make contact.
Okay.
And cast Cure Wounds. I'll do it as a second level spell.
Okay. So go ahead and roll that healing.
So Nerdarchy N on one of the D8s.
Ooh!
So it's going to be 17.
Love those good metal dice. Okay, so I am now going to use one of my GM intrusions. Hey. So you have a choice to make, Strawn.
Sure.
You can put out the green fire entirely, leaving the tree sucking the black ichor, or you can let the tree burn. One of those two things has to happen in order to deal with this. Either you're going to heal the tree, but also put out the fire, or you're going to not be able to heal the tree and keep the fire going.
Okay. Would I be able to gather more information before I can make this decision?
Yes, you can gather that
All right.
information before you spend the spell slot.
Does it look like we have made progress? Is there less ichor than there was before?
There is less, but it looks like the sort of thing that will be burning for like years.
Okay. I will put it out.
Okay. So you put it out, and when you put it out, you see that the roots of the tree are now kind of blackened and charred on the outside. You feel the bark is crumbling and there's parts of it falling away. Senta, you are no longer in excruciating pain. You see the white-cloaked figure dead over there. And Jen actually has to... I have to see if they could withstand that psychic damage. Hold on a second. I don't have a ton of hit points.
Steven, wasn't I wearing mind shielding?
Was what?
I was wearing mind shielding.
Oh, you were wearing your ring of mind shielding.
It was an amulet, but yeah, I put it
Oh.
on when Jen gave it to me.
That's right. Well, in that case, you take none of the damage from this, but you definitely still hurt it, and you have much less, but still a trickle of blood. So you now just have the trauma of hearing her scream.
Okay, that's bad enough as it is.
But you are not taking any of the psychic damage associated with it like Jen did. Also, Jen looks like they are on the cusp of death. You see their skin has grayed and is a ghostly shade right now.
Oh shit, I'm gonna go over there. There's nothing I can do about it. I don't know why I am, but when your friend is dying, that's what you do.
Mm-hmm. And so that is your GM intrusion. So you also get, both of you have an inspiration you need to give to somebody else as well. If you remember.
I believe Dave used his, so I'll give him one.
Okay.
Desatricos is the one that has not gotten one, so...
Okay.
Everybody gets an inspiration.
All right. So everybody gets another inspiration. And you hear this... And you see a former Minotaur turned ogre in this doorway. So you see these massive, like, thorny horns just coming up in a crown around its head, the big flower mouth, if you remember, and the massive spiky body as it is standing at the head of a horde at the opposite end of the room where you see there is a veritable army of the Umber Horde. There is not a chance in any hell you can take this. However, everybody give me a perception roll or investigation.
10.
21.
21.
Also 10.
Also 10.
6.
Strawn.
It's that height advantage I have from being.
You see where that white cloaked dwarf is lying on the ground with her neck broken. Peeking out from her shirt is an amulet on a gold chain. And you see within this setting a familiar color of green stone set into the necklace.
All right. I guess if we need to GTFO, as they say, it's like, well, looks like we've hit rock bottom here. It might be time to go. And I will dance over to the party and point out the necklace that this dwarf was wearing.
Mm-hmm.
Particularly to Senta.
Well, someone grab that. I am like hauling Jen out of here with me.
Well, I would say Senta, you grab that. Gortham, could you carry them?
That'll do.
Okay, so because Jen is your friend, Senta, I want you to make a death saving throw for them, please.
That's not pressure at all. 17.
17, that's a success. Jen has one success. And Gortham, you haul and you feel just the faintest flicker of a breath coming from this dwarf as they're handed to you.
Does she need healing, or do they need healing?
They're not dead yet. But yes, they could use some healing. I mean, if you want them to live.
It's 10 hit points.
10 hit points. Okay, so Jen just... and you see color quickly flushes returning to their face. You see that the cracks that had appeared in their gemstone have begun to seal back up again as well. And Senta, you rush over and you grab that necklace. So you now have the necklace, and you realize this is one of the shards that you were looking for set in the necklace.
Well, that's good. We need to get out of here.
Okay, so this is another complex test. So I need everyone to start with an initiative roll. You need to have a net of two successes in order to count the first part a success.
7 for initiative.
That's a failure.
I got a 19.
How about a Nerdarchy symbol?
Ooh, that counts as 2 successes. Hopefully nobody rolls a 1.
16 total.
16, okay. You guys succeed on your first set of initiative rolls as you start sprinting up the stairs, nimbly dodging the traps that Senta pointed out earlier. You feel like the Umber Horde is on your tails at this point. I need athletics checks for stamina.
Okay.
Net 2 is required to succeed.
Ooh,
11 for me.
11 is a failure.
17.
17 is a success.
18.
18 is a success.
I also failed. I got a 10.
Okay, so you see Desatrikos and Senta are sort of like trying to pull each other along as they're both struggling, but you two are managing to go further. Strawn, how are you helping them to keep up with the group?
So it's just positive encouragement. I'm kind of the healer, the motivator of the group, maybe.
Okay.
So I'm trying to stay close. Imagine Gortham's got no problem moving. Endurance has never been a real issue for the Minotaur, even carrying another body. But we're the rest of us aren't warriors the way Gortham is, so just wanting to stay with them and keep them moving.
All right, Gortham, how are you helping?
I sling Jen around to my back and have her hold on to my neck, wrap her arms and legs around me, and I kind of like with the same motion I use to swing her around to my back. I also like swing around behind Senta and Destrikos, and I take my axe and hold it horizontally and basically drop down low like a charging bull and just push them.
Okay.
And
so you guys are
using
being
the half
pushed
of the
along.
axe to kind of lift and move them forward.
Okay. That puts Strawn at the front of the group. Strawn, I need a perception check.
Oh, Die is doing well for me tonight. That is a 21.
Strawn, the stairs ahead of you are crumbling. And you will be able to figure out where to step, so you can choose. Do you want to let everyone else know about the problems so they will be better off? But then you are going to have to make an acrobatics check? Or do you want to focus on just sprinting as quick as you can there and not being able to communicate?
Can I propose an alternative solution?
Sure. What's your alternative solution?
I will call back. The stairs are crumbling, and I will Misty Step again.
Okay, that is a solution. So you can certainly do that. You automatically succeed. And everyone else, you now have to make acrobatics checks, but not disadvantage, thankfully. As you realize that the quaking from the thundering roars and all of the thundering horde itself is actually quaking the building to a place that the caverns are crumbling upon themselves, and the stairs are also crumbling.
57.
Did you say 57?
No, I said 27.
Oh, on the mic, it sounded like 57. I was like, how does that happen?
I heard 57 as well, Steven.
That's hilarious, but no.
You guys are ridiculous. I heard 37.
All we know is Senta has no problem.
I've got that rogue thing that lets you double your proficiency, but it's not that good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got natural 18.
Natural 18, perfect.
I got a 13.
A 13. Okay, so Senta literally is stepping on the broken pieces as they're falling, anime leaping from one broken piece to the other and landing easily on the other side. Desatrikos is kind of using his hair to stabilize almost like these tendrils as he's going. And you see that he is able to also pole vault his way with this viney tendril hair of his onto the other side safely. Gortham is starting to fall. One of you may take a reaction to do something to help.
I'll use I'll cast Ordo's Wonderbeard's Binding Beard and try to grab him with my mane hair and pull him towards us.
Loving that Nerdarchy Beardomancy style, yes.
So I actually have to make a melee spell attack roll, but he can take it.
For those of you who don't know, they're all playing Nerdarchy subclasses, by the way. Dave's is available on the website for free in an article, and the rest of them have them in products. And in that article that Dave's is in, all the others are linked so you can find them.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm casting Beard Whip. That's a different spell. But nevertheless,
Okay.
I got a nat 20. So
Okay.
unfortunately, you're going to take 8 bludgeoning damage. But I will yank him in my direction.
Okay, so you watch as Gortham is jumping and he
actually,
makes
I'm
this
sorry.
running leap.
To be fair, it'd be another 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he makes
Your
this
own
running
max damage.
Yeah.
and he falls. He miscalculates because he's got extra weight on his back and he's not used to that. And so Gortham, you start to fall. And just as you're falling and you completely miss grabbing onto that stairway with your hand, this hair wraps around you and yanks you up anyway. And you guys continue running.
I say to him as we're running, like, magic isn't always bad.
And now for the final check to see if you guys make it up the stairway, I need each of you to make an athletics or acrobatics check to get to the top platform. You see that some of the Umber Horde are actually jumping along as well, and some of them are quite mobile. You see there are zombies, there are ogres, which are converted minotaurs. You see that there's even some that are flying, and they're coming up fast from the very back.
Those
Those
are
are
24
harpies.
athletics.
24 athletics, okay.
I got an 8
17.
athletics.
17 success.
Using my inspiration, I'm a 15.
15 just makes it. So
Okay.
how do you guys help Desatrikos? Desatrikos, you find yourself having rescued Gortham. Your rhythm and pace is offset a little bit. You find yourself further back than the others. And just as you're about to make it, the part in front of you starts to crumble and the one you're on falls.
I think it would be
So-
hilarious if all that we could reach was like his mane and had to like haul him up by the hair.
I'm going to try and grab him by the scruff like a mommy kitty.
Okay. Make a grappling check.
All right. You know what? I'm going to reach deep inside myself and stoke my inner fury to rage.
Okay.
Helping each other through pain.
Oh my God. That's still only... I'm going to use my inspiration. Thank you very much. That was just terrible. It can't be that terrible twice in a row, can it? 16. Much better.
16. All right. So you reach down and you just grab him. And Desatrikos, you feel yourself being grabbed on the back and hauled up. And it hurts a little bit because when cats get to be a certain age, they're not supposed to be scruffed anymore. But you
No one
still-
ever
but
told
you're safe.
Gortham that.
Pro tip.
It hurts much less than if you'd hit the ground with a splat among the Umber Horde, though. And so you all make it safely to the doorway, and you see that 5 harpies, which are corrupted bird folk, begin soaring towards you from deeper within. And now you have a choice to make. You can fight the harpies and then deal with the horde, or you can try to come up with a creative solution.
Are we in the chamber that we can portal?
You are not there yet. You are in the chamber below that.
Hey, John. Can you like summon sky wolves?
I don't know so much about sky wolves here. Let's see what I got going on.
Pretty sure you could do like giant bats or something.
Give me just a second here. So yeah, so I will call forth, reaching out into the night, and I will pull out 8 giant bats.
Okay. So as you reach into the night, you guys watch as the crumbling stones and just showers of sand pouring from the quaking caverns start to hold in the air and swirl, materializing into these bats. And you now have your giant bats.
And they're going to be a distraction, and we're going to keep on running.
Okay, so you keep on running. Everyone, yes.
Can I intentionally set off one of the traps to exacerbate the falling staircase dilemma?
Sure. Go ahead and give me a, we'll say, sleight of hand or investigation roll.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. So you guys watch as Senta, how do you do this? What are you using?
I am just gonna reach back and slam my dagger into one of the triggers and then keep moving.
Okay.
Something, I don't know if there are any dropping the brick traps here, or if it's all fire based, but I'm gonna specifically try to aim it at loose stones to just continue making the things fall and make it harder for them to come after us.
Okay. All right. So you trigger this trap, and you do see they're mostly fire, and as it burns, you see the trigger actually apparently loosens it enough that the entire bit falls after it's blasted one of these harpies. And you see that the piece itself chunks and crumbles onto the head of one of the ogres. And Senta, at this point, you would realize that unless you guys seal off this chamber, the entire city is likely to be overrun with these monstrosities within an hour at the most.
But if we do seal off this chamber, then we're not going to be able to get back down here and fix it.
Right. And you will doom the mother tree to the Umber Horde. So the question is, do you want to risk the mother tree's death and corruption, but save the city? Or do you want to leave the city to be destroyed with all the people in it and potentially be able to come back in to save the mother tree at a later time?
I don't think that we or anyone else in this city want to leave the mother tree to die. And I don't think that... I feel like this question is a false dichotomy. I think what we can do is get in there and evacuate.
Okay. All right. So you want to go in and try to evacuate people?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So you guys are, how do you want to communicate this to everybody else? Because your brain is the one right now that has put a lot of these pieces together, right?
Okay. So I am a thought thief rogue. Dwarves are kind of psionic anyway. I want to take the mind shielding amulet off and project it to the party.
Okay.
As a direct thought.
All right. Make an Arcana check.
16.
16. All right. So, Senta, you feel it. All of it. You feel like the mother tree herself must be reaching out to you just a little bit. And when you do, you realize, I can do this. I can do this. You project your thoughts, and you can project your thoughts into them. As you do, you also gain Mother's Voice as a special feat, which grants you the message cantrip for free. And telepathic bond can be cast once per day by you without using any spell slots or anything.
Awesome. I'm gonna cast that now. That seems like a
Okay.
good idea. So like, yeah, I'm just gonna let you guys know that we need to get out there. We need to like evacuate the dwarves. They need to know what's going on because I've got a strong feeling like a lot of them don't.
Are there? Is there, town guard militia that could be enacted to give people time to evacuate? Can that be? Is there some kind of bell that can be rung, or
A lot of them are dead in this chamber.
Some are done. Well, there's got to be somebody left. There's got to be somebody that can. Are we talking about like a major city? Are we talking about a small settlement here? What is the size of this place?
I mean, if this is the mother tree, then it's got to be like at like the dwarven capital, right?
Yep, this is the dwarven capital.
Yeah, we saw a handful of soldiers and whatnot falling.
Okay.
So there's got to be an army that can be rallied.
Okay, well then one of us needs to go and handle that.
It's got to be you.
Okay, I'm on it. Let's go. Just round up what civilians you can. I'm gonna like project an image of like the map of the city to you so that you know where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
Like who you need to go and talk to so that they can get people up and moving.
Sure.
Okay.
How wide is this hall?
The hall itself that you're in right now is like hundreds of feet wide. Like it is massive. Like this right here is the bottleneck, and then they're gonna just be rampant, able to be free.
So the bottleneck's hundreds of feet wide.
No, the bottleneck is about 20 feet wide. But then the chamber that it opens up into is who?
Can either of you magic this tighter?
I don't think I can do that.
So I'm kind of. What about that thing you did before? In the other chamber. That looks about this wide.
Who are you talking to?
You.
Me?
Yeah. You did the beard thing.
Oh.
It looks sticky.
Am I
spiky.
misunderstanding it? I mean, there's like a horde of things coming at like a large population center.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think that would slow them down.
Well, you do realize that at this point, anything here will slow them down a little bit because they can only reach it a few at a time because of the crumbling pathway up.
Okay,
And,
well, I'll do
and there's
that
a
then.
20-foot bottleneck.
Then I will put a hairball down in it.
Okay. So go ahead and give me an Arcana check to see how successful you get that door sealed for a while.
It's just on the ground. It's just like the ground is difficult terrain in a 20-foot radius.
Oh, so you're not trying to make it span.
Oh, I didn't know that was the thing. Sure, I'll do that.
If you want to get creative with your magic, I am all for it.
I'd rather just do the reliable. I mean, that's just
Okay.
what the spell does.
Okay, so you just put it down on the base to try to maybe get something big stuck here so that way it's going to be kind of blockading it in. Is that what I'm getting?
Yeah, it just makes the terrain sticky for like 1 minute.
Okay.
It's difficult terrain.
All right, so you guys see this splatter of sticky hair just covering like an ooze. And really quickly, about 5 zombies, which you would know are corrupted humans, and they are very mobile and can climb walls, sort of pile on in this area, expecting to get Desatrikos, who manages to avoid, and they get stuck in this slather and make a sort of mound shambling door block to blockade the area briefly. And that buys you enough time to get to the city.
If anything actually manages to get out, like rushes through, I'll totally thunderwave it back into it.
Okay.
I want
All
to
right.
take Jen and shove Jen into Desatriko's arms, and I'm going to turn and start hacking at the zombies.
Okay. All
and I
right,
just
so
kind
you can do
of like
that.
wave over my shoulder, go. And I
I'll be back with
rage.
reinforcements.
Okay. As you're going, Senta, because you got this feat, you hear Mother's voice in your head. And it's quivering with mourning. It says, I'm dying.
We'll see about that.
I don't have to. And
What
you
do I
see
do?
Jen also seems to be hearing this.
What do we have to do?
You are my children. You must find somewhere safe to put down your roots. The sages know the ritual. When they find a safe place, you can not birth me back, but one of you can be taking my role.
And like there is this moments of absolute difficulty with this entire concept because like you don't just let your mother die, but at the same time Senta sees the sense in it and okay, we will survive this. We will do this.
Okay. Senta, you hear Jen immediately say, I'll do it. I'll do it.
Then you need to get out in one piece. Go.
Okay. And they run off.
I'm gonna go rally the blues.
Okay. So you go rally the blues. I need you to give me a complex test at this point, once
All
again.
right, let's go.
Because you are trying as a gray dwarf to convince the soldiers, who are one of the highest castes in the city, to rally when they don't yet have an enemy to see. Meanwhile, while you're rolling that, Gortham, you are hacking away at these zombies. I need you to make a tough decision. You can choose to kill all of the zombies, but in the process, you'll let 2 harpies get through. Or you can choose to leave the zombies alive, and the harpies will be blockaded in. As the zombies are actually terrorizing each other, trying to tear each other apart to get free.
I will pull my javelins out and start
Okay.
throwing them at the harpies.
Okay. All right.
Gortham is gonna so he kind of plants his axe with his left hand and begins pawing at the ground with his hoof and throwing his head back and forth and snorting. And as he does, green flame comes out of his nostrils and his tattoos all begin to flare as he rages. And then he sights the harpies, realizing that the zombies are kind of in their own way right now, and that they're the real problem because they can fly. He's going to let loose with javelins.
Okay. So make an attack roll.
That's a 23.
23. Okay. So you easily hit. Roll that damage.
That is going to be 14 points of damage.
14 points of damage. Okay. So this javelin lands in this harpy's back as it soars and arcs and inside. You hear the harpy unleash a terrible screech as it continues to flap, but its one side seems like it's injured, and so it's kind of waving back and forth in the air as it continues toward the city.
Does a 30 hit that harpy?
Never. Yes.
So that's a crit.
Oh wow. Okay. Ooh. You can just describe its gruesome demise.
Okay. Yeah, so he lets loose with another one for that would be 23 points of damage, and it actually makes him pass, but he pivots, spins, and then just chucks it and just
Uh-huh.
skewers it from the bottom up, and the javelin burst out of its mouth and head, and precedes the harpy, leaving a wake of blood and feathers behind.
Ooh, okay. Now, is this the one that was uninjured?
That
Or
was
the
the
one you
injured one that
injured?
you said that kind of like fluttered by.
Okay. So the injured one is now pegged into the wall high up. And Desatricos and Strawn, you see this happening. What are you doing to try to deal with the situation? Or are you going with Senta?
So what time of day is it?
It doesn't matter as much in the
Oh, well.
dwarven area. However, it is mid-afternoon.
All right.
I will. We're sharing this telepathic bond, so we all kind of know what we're doing, right? Or we know that
Yeah.
what Senta's planning. I'm gonna sort of I'm like, well, if you're gonna go try to, rally these folks, you should look your best, and I'll sort of just like brush the dust off. But as I'm doing, I'll cast Enhanced Style and give Senta a pompadour, so you have advantage on persuasion checks for the next hour.
I feel
And
like I
then
want
I
to
will-
snap at people.
And then I'll like just pat her on the shoulder, and then I'll turn around and with my silver claws and just rush at those whatever's closest to the edge of that thing by Gortham and just start tearing at those zombies.
Okay.
I just realized one of my spells is actually a pretty decent AoE, so I will actually drop a moonbeam down on everyone trying to cluster into the room.
Okay. So usually doesn't Moonbeam require line of sight to the sky?
I don't see that anywhere in the description here.
Okay. Well, either way, you guys see as these mana crystals that are embedded overhead pour down with this moonbeam drawn from the wild itself. You can add a d4 to your damage roll.
All right, so it's 2d10 damage, and if anything in here counts as a shape changer, it would make it save at disadvantage.
Technically, all of them are shape changers because they all changed from humanoids, but they're undead.
That would be the awesomest spell to use against these things. If
So it's 15 damage,
15 damage.
And
Okay.
and it's concentration, so it'll stay up.
So you see as Strawn peeks through and he summons this moonbeam down on the horde that's ever amassing closer to the door and just clears a swath off of this crumbled stairway. And you hear shrieks as many of them just incinerate. Meanwhile, Senta, what did you get for a persuasion roll?
Okay, so Steven,
Mhm.
hear me out
Okay.
before I make this roll. My plan was to stealth find the captain and then just push the memory of everything that just happened into his head
Uh-huh.
and then get him to rally the troops.
Okay.
So how does that change what I'm doing?
Arcana or religion?
Okay, well
No,
then I
that-
guess I should just say it out loud because I don't have any points in either of those.
Oh,
you get
okay.
advantage because of your pompadour.
Yeah.
You're very slick looking pompadour.
You can do that thing to also give yourself advantage on the persuasion check. Because you do have a feat now that is tied directly to your mother.
That is a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Okay, so you very easily find your way to the guardhouse and you sneak your way in. It's not actually super difficult for you to manage that. And you get right into where the head guard is. And you push into the general's mind this these visions of what's been happening, these memories.
Like just all of it, including the thing that Mother said and including the thing that Jen said after.
Okay. And you see that they pull back. Oh, wow.
Yeah, we don't have time to faff around with this. We gotta go.
And they immediately run to these braziers that they have and ignite it. And you start seeing braziers ignite all over the city as bells start sounding. And you see people filing in fairly orderly lines into the streets and following the procedure to all evacuate.
Awesome. And come back and fight.
It's usually intended for like floods and devastating weather. And the fact that there is an earthquake happening right now and it's starting to reach the city itself is reason enough for people to believe they need to leave.
Yeah, we're blue today. Let's go.
All right. And so you start running towards everything. As you do, and you come back into the chamber, right? And you see your allies still fighting this battle. You see a harpy pegged onto the wall of overhead. Excuse me. And you see as well that Jen seems to be coming from one of those offshoot chambers and is holding what looks like a really large seed. And
so when I casted telepathic bond, Jen was with the party. Is Jen also in the mind loop?
Yes. And
I would like to tell them how to teleport out so they don't have to like go through the whole process, so that there's no chance that they're gonna get like bowled over.
Right. So they respond with, "Thank you. I will definitely do that. I don't know what I'm doing fully, but I'm sure the sages will know, and I can bring this to them. They'll have to pay attention to me. Right now, I just need to get this out. Senta, right. You're blue."
What?
No, like you're blue. Like you're really blue. Like blue. Like, are you blue? I thought you were gray.
I don't know. We'll take care of that later. Just go back to the keep. We'll bring the dwarves there.
Okay. And they run off, and you can glance in one of these crystals that's decorating these many areas, and you see your eyes and the gems around your cheeks are now a vivid blue.
Oh, I guess we really are blue today. All right.
And so I didn't share this with you earlier, but part of your feat is you can change the color of your gem.
That's awesome.
So, yeah. And then you come back and you see currently, Gortham, what are you doing to fight the Horde?
Well, I have 2 more javelins to throw and then 2 hand axes. And then we go back to the great axe.
All right. So you have 2 javelins, 2 great axes. So you are just wailing on these things with your various weaponry. And you've already expended your javelins, I believe, right?
I have 2 more.
Oh, you have 2 more still. Okay. So Gortham is just covered in blood against his white fur. It's very stark.
Your fur is white too?
And it is, his fur is white too.
Oh, I never
and a lot of the blood, though, is black and viscous, so it's really yucky looking. But he does not seem bothered by it. What is Strawn doing to help aid this fight right now?
So, I mean, with these things, the trick is to keep them down. So while I'm concentrating on the moonbeam, I'm going to be, casting Produce Flame on anything that's, kind of dropping, in hopes that the fires that it creates will kind of create a barrier, because it's deadly to anything that's umbral. And then at the same time, that creates a barrier, it creates a stopgap, if you will. So I'm just going to keep launching that as much as I can.
Okay. All right. So Strawn is just destroying these things with the world around them and the power within himself. It is crazy. You have never in your life seen Strawn so determined and full of power. Desatrikos, what are you doing as Strawn is throwing these various spells and you see Gortham hacking away savagely? What are you doing?
So that hairball would have long since dissipated. And I'm just, basically just like giving myself over to like, this might be our last stand. And I'm just like tearing with his silver claws and, probably getting his butt handed to him. But I actually totally forgot about this other thing that I have, which is great because I'll use it now, which is called Whirl Whip. And I'll just sort of like get so frustrated and like all his fur just like whips out all around him. And every enemy in 10 feet, I mean, you don't have to do this, but it's just, if they fail to save, just gets bound and like thrown.
Oh, did he freeze?
Back 10 more feet to the ground. That's
Oh,
like
there
his
we go.
Last big hurrah, just like when he's just got nothing. When he's just got nothing left.
Okay, I'm going to make one saving throw for all of them, okay?
Sure.
That'll make it faster.
It's 14.
That is an 8 on the die.
All right. It's 14.
So that fails.
Yeah.
All right, so you are grabbing them and just chucking them back into the horde. And you guys are decimating these things, but they keep coming. So right now I need everyone to make a constitution check.
Say check or a saving. Oh, it doesn't matter. It's the same thing for me.
It could be a saving throw. I think that
13.
matters for Gortham. 15?
13.
13. Still succeeds.
It mattered for me too. It would have been a 10.
30, 20.
14, dirty 20, 15. Everybody succeeds. You guys have trained for this your whole time here. You have been part of the order and you knew that one day this day was coming. You are making a last stand here. You are going to see this through.
We only have to hold them long enough for everybody else to get out, and then we can use the teleporter.
After about 5 minutes, you feel a tap on your shoulder, Senta. It's Jen.
What are you doing?
No, okay. So listen, before I go, because I went and then I came back. That's a really cool, weird ring.
Yeah.
There is a chamber that way, and it leads to the outside.
Okay.
There's already a ladder attached. Many of the Greys and those of us that don't want to be noticed when we leave come out time to time if we don't want to deal with the paperwork to go to the surface for just a little bit. It's still currently open, but it might also let those things out if they follow you. But anyway, I gotta go. I just wanted you to know that. Be safe.
Okay. Thank you for letting me know.
They hug you.
And I hug Jen back, and I'm like, all right, go. Don't come back this time.
Okay. And they run off back towards where you guys teleported in. I need everybody to make, if you use magic, you can use Arcana or Nature or Religion. If you use physical, you can use Acrobatics or Athletics. One of those checks. I need 3 successes. Ooh.
22. Acrobatics.
22.
26 athletics.
11 religion.
11 religion.
I only got 12.
Only got a 12. Okay. So Senta, you are dodging these things and literally using the terrain to parkour around your enemies as you slice and stab. Gortham, you at this point are just sopping with this black ichor as you are and throwing them and destroying them, just beating them in, pommeling them. Desatrikos looks like he's starting to wear, as does Strawn. The casters, it seems to finally start be taking a toll on them. And you're realizing that at this point, because you did not fully succeed, you guys are going to have to make a choice. You can retreat now and not have disadvantage to escape and possibly still be able to seal off that extra exit. Or you can keep going, you will have disadvantage to escape, and you won't be able to seal off the exit.
We got to seal off that exit.
We have to seal off that exit.
Okay. So you guys retreat, and everyone give me another athletics check as you're
Right,
getting.
and we are bringing the blues with us, yes, because Like,
The
it's
Blues
important.
did not come with you at this point to do the fighting.
Oh, okay.
They're getting everyone out.
Oh, good.
That's
Okay.
their
I didn't
primary
We've been doing this by
focus.
ourselves.
You've been doing this by yourselves
We
at the
are
bottleneck.
stone cold badasses. All right.
That's right. Stone cold.
At 20.
Nat 20. That's two
So-
successes.
That's 19.
16.
Is this
16.
athletics or acrobatics or just
Yes.
athletics? Okay.
Either one.
Oh, if it's athletics or acrobatics, that's 29 total.
All right. Well,
Okay.
I still rolled like crap. That's a 5.
So Senta leads you to this exit that Jen told her about. And you all climb the ladder. You cut the ladder. And you realize there is a nearby boulder that could be pushed over to completely just sit here and seal this exit.
So Strawn got a 5. Do we still have him with us?
You still have Strawn with you because
Okay,
of your nat
good.
20.
Good.
Because
I'll
you
look
needed
over-
4 successes to win. And everyone else succeeded, and you also succeeded.
Just dragged him along with us.
Yep.
All right. So at this point, I am looking at the big guys because
Yeah.
I don't have boulder pushing energy.
I'm pretty strong. I'll help Gortham. I'll just nod at him and be like,
All right. We'll try and push this.
give it our
boulder.
best. And
All right.
That's a 23.
do you want me
Okay,
to roll
that
or should I
succeeds.
help him? Oh, that's fine with the. Okay, never mind. I'll look like I'm trying really hard, but I know. It was good.
Okay, so you're helping, and it's because Desatricos is helping just that little bit, Gortham. You managed to, because you're real worn at this point. Like, everyone's winded. This is crazy. And the cold weather, while you grew up in this sort of climate, it's still a lot with everything else. You got icicles starting to form as this yucky black liquid starts freezing on your body. And you shove and the boulder is now in place. Everything is now stopped from coming out. You
Sent
can
it was
now-
wise of your people to put this here.
I don't think we did this on purpose.
What, the boulder? Sure. It seems like a tactical thing to do in case you had to withdraw.
I mean, except that most of my people didn't know that this was here.
Oh. Well, maybe someone had to put the ladder there and make the door.
We'll figure it out. We need to find the other dwarves and get them back to the keep.
you see that this mountain pass, this curving, snaking pathway on a ledge that leads to the mountain dwarf's city gates, is currently filled to the brim, side to side, packed with people walking in an exodus away from their home. Some are arguing about it, but the soldiers are forcing them to keep on. And you see the dwarves abandoning the capital.
Steven, if I can change my gym color, can I change back to my original color?
Sure.
Okay. I'm gonna do that because they're gonna need direction, and that's what we need to get them where we need them to go.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll put a pin in that for next week.
Okay. So as of right now, you guys are standing on a mountainside ledge overlooking the exodus of the dwarves. You hear crashing and quaking still. You see that some of the grandiose dwarven statues of their forebears are crumbling at the entrance as well, with just the intense quaking. And you hear echoing screeches coming from the city. But most of them, at least, made it out alive, thanks to you. And that is where we are going to cut it for tonight.
That was intense.
It was so good.
Well, thank you for running. Thank you for everyone for hanging out with us tonight. And of course, thank you to our players. And until next time, stay nerdy.
Stay nerdy.